Hi, welcome back to Genesis Custom Sabers. As many of you know, my speeder saber was based on my original design for Corran Horn way back in 2010, 2011, whenever I first did that. But there's some subtle differences in the one you can purchase off the website. However, when I first launched it, I did a special advanced edition that was kind of an homage to the original Corran Horn design. And I've been asked by a lot of people, would I ever do that again? Well, today's the day. I am announcing a small run of updated speeder sabers with the Corran Horn coloring, weathering style, subtly different than the SAE version. And this one has an OLED screen. Of course, it comes with my Corellian font, among other fonts, but this one was made particularly for this saber. Something a little unique, something that just sounded Corran Horn to me. You may detect something subtle in the ignition sound. I'll leave that up to your imagination. Saber comes ready to use. The options will be, of course, Plector Pixel with my NPX2 blade or Tri-Cree LED. This is, of course, the Plector Pixel. I've got a silver blade color, obviously for Corran Horn, so it's a little bit bright on camera. Drains the battery pretty fast, but it is pretty cool. So the flashes, I don't know if you picked them up, are kind of like a reddish flash. So the saber comes ready to use, really cool. This video is going to serve as the operating instructions if you are one of the lucky people that gets on this run. I'm going to announce the sale will go on my website probably a week from now, and I imagine them to sell out fairly quickly, so you'll want to position yourself and get ready for that if this is something that you would like to add to your collection. In terms of operating this saber, it's pretty straightforward. Just the same thing as my other production series sabers, with a couple of exceptions. This saber will come with one of my NPX2 blade plugs. Now, if the saber's in sleep mode, you wake it up, hold the button down. Sleep mode is just a way to save the battery, and you'll notice a little animation. Then it's ready to turn on. This is the activation button. You'll notice that there's illumination in the blade plug when it's used. Just a side note, with the OLED screen, you can tap the auxiliary button and you can get various little things like a battery level meter is the first thing that comes up. You can just toggle through sound, font, information, different animations. If you've got the battery selected, the blade also shows battery illumination. Just be aware you will get a blue illumination there as well if the blade plugs in, if you leave it sitting that way. Of course, you can leave it on whatever you want, and then when you turn the saber on, it goes to an on animation, and then when you turn the saber off, the OLED screen goes off. If you leave it on an animation, eventually it will go to a short screensaver type thing, so you might hear some beeps and things like that. Of course, you can turn that off in the menu if you would like. To take the blade plug out, just remove the kill key, the blade retention screw, pull out your blade plug and set it aside. Take one of your Plector Pixel blades. Comes supplied with a NPX2 blade if you order it that way. You can also order the saber with no blade to save some money. Maybe you build them on your own or you have a bunch. Activation button, saber comes on, pretty straightforward. Auxiliary button, hold it to lock up. Now if you want to change color on any given sound font, this is my Corellian sound font, you tap both buttons. Now you're in the spectrum mode. You can also read on here color profile number. So we're in color profile number 15. Now if I'm going to rotate the saber around, select a different color, maybe a purple, I can tap the button to lock in that color, or I can hold the button. Blade profiles. And now I'm in blade profiles, and you also see the blade profile number. We're in blade profile number 11. And as you change around different blade profiles, different effects, then you'll get a different number. You find a blade profile that you like, and you just tap it to lock it in. If you wanted to, you could hold the button and go back into the color profile again and make adjustments that way. Now, of course, these instructions only apply if you order a Plector Pixel version of the saber. If you were to order a standard Tri-Cree high brightness LED version, of course the LEDs are in the hilt and not in the blade. If you want to watch a video describing the differences, then you can just click wherever the little indicator is. I have done a video basically explaining some of the breakdown of the differences between a pixel saber and a high brightness LED saber. Of course, the high brightness LED saber, the blades are much less expensive, easier to replace if you duel a lot. So keep that in mind. But really, that's the operation of this saber. When it comes time to change the battery, of course, you'll have a battery level meter here that you can access. It tells you the level of the battery. Just like in the stories, Corran Horn, the pommel comes off. But in this case, you can gently remove the battery. There's a plastic sleeve you can see here. And you can gently work the saber innards out of that plastic sleeve, grab the ribbon, remove the battery. You can also at this time make any changes to the SD card if you would like, or you can gently lever the sound card out and you can plug in a USB, connect that to your computer to use the interface that's provided. And when you want, new battery goes in. Remember, the ribbon folds over, positive to this end, negative to this end. Pop the battery in, saber boots up, ready to go. You want to guide the OLED screen into the little plastic sleeve. And then what I do is I just tap the auxiliary button to give me a blade end, or the power indicator, battery level, and then I just line up the OLED screen with the window. Put the pommel on, thread it in, and you're good to go. So that's how to operate this saber. I hope you have a lot of fun with it should you choose to order one of these special sabers. Again, going up for sale on my website very soon. I just wanted to take a moment and show the progression of the design from the original Corran Horn saber that I designed back in 2010 using the Kobold D-ring, which is reminiscent of some of the original films sabers, and some of the parts that were available at the custom saber shop at the time that I just kind of modified and had some red and green LEDs reminiscent of Luke's. I think I've gutted this one to kind of play around with it, but if you have an original Corran Horn, it will look like this. Then I always wanted to redesign it. The knurling on the grip, always to me, it didn't necessarily feel like a speeder bike handle, which is what, of course, the saber is designed from in the story. And you'll know if you follow my work that I didn't try to replicate Endor speeder bikes or anything like that. I tried to do something that was based on what I perceived speeder bike handle grip might look like, and the other flux apertures and flashback suppressors and other elements that Corran Horn used in his saber. This is, of course, the special advance edition that I did before I launched this production series saber. So very, very similar, because it's the identical parts, to the special edition that I'm issuing today, with the exception of the OLED screen. The weathering is a little slightly different, and the Kobold D-ring is in slightly different orientation. But other than that, it's almost an identical saber. But I thought it'd be fun to provide some subtle differences just to mark this one as new and special and different. If you're a collector, I hope you're interested. Funny side note, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Michael Stackpole, the author of iJedi, himself has one of the original Corran Horn sabers. Michael, if you're out there, thanks for repping my work all these years. It is certified for hard dueling, with the exception that if you're going to use a pixel blade, these pixel blades can bend or break if you're really wailing on them. So keep that in mind, because it's an expensive blade replacement should you choose to do that. So that's this saber, the Speeder Special Edition, designed as an homage to the Corran Horn saber design. If this video was fun and you really want to follow this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. Click that little bell icon so that you can be notified whenever future stuff comes up. Thanks again for watching.